Ever feel like New Year's resolutions are more about hype than actual change? Like you're just going through the motions without any real substance?
Right. Right.
Well, today on podcast Listen and Learn English, we're going to unpack why reflection and goal setting actually matter
Yeah.
and how to make them work for you. I'm George,
Hi.
and I'm excited to be joined by Diana, our expert in communication and personal development.
Mm.
We've gone deep into some research on this topic,
Yeah.
sifting through articles and studies to bring you the most useful insights. So hit that like button if you find this helpful.
What's fascinating is that most of us already understand the basic concepts of reflection and goal setting, but we often miss the nuances that make them truly effective. It's like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal, but not knowing the right recipe.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of recipes, this deep dive is for you if you're ready to move beyond vague aspirations and cook up some real tangible progress in the areas that matter most to you.
Mm.
So, Diana, let's ditch the New Year's resolution cliches and get down to the nitty-gritty. Why should we bother with reflection and goal setting in the first place?
It's about more than just checking boxes on a to-do list. Reflection allows us to understand our past experiences, learn from our mistakes, and identify patterns in our behavior. This self-awareness then fuels our goal setting, helping us create a roadmap for where we want to go next. It's a continuous cycle of growth and improvement.
Makes sense, but honestly, sometimes it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
Is there a way to make reflection feel less like a duty and more like a genuinely useful tool?
Absolutely. One powerful technique is to shift your perspective. Instead of dwelling on what you didn't accomplish, focus on celebrating even the smallest wins. Did you finally conquer that procrastination habit, even for a day? Did you try something new that pushed you outside your comfort zone?
Right.
Those are victories worth acknowledging. Recognizing small achievements releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation, making it easier to stay on track with your goals.
I love that reframing.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the should-haves and could-haves that we forget to celebrate the did-dos. Before we dive into specific phrases for reflection and goal setting, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole idea of sharing our reflections with others. Is that always a good idea? Is there a risk of coming across as boastful or self-absorbed?
It's definitely a valid concern. The key is to approach sharing with the right intention. It's not about bragging or seeking validation. It's about connecting with others on a deeper level, fostering a sense of community, and maybe even inspiring someone else along the way. Think of it as an opportunity to exchange valuable insights and perspectives rather than a one-sided monologue. And remember, you don't have to share everything with everyone. Choose your audience wisely and focus on authentically expressing yourself.
Those are great points. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this deep dive so far, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment telling us about a time when sharing your reflections sparked a meaningful conversation. Now let's get into the practical side of things. The research we analyzed highlights 3 key areas for reflecting on the past year: achievements, challenges, and gratitude. Let's unpack these, starting with achievements.
Wow.
A lot of people get hung up on this feeling like they need to have accomplished something monumental to have anything worth sharing.
Exactly. But that's where understanding the psychology behind achievement comes in.
Right.
It's not about comparing ourselves to others or striving for some external standard of success. It's about recognizing our own personal growth and celebrating the milestones that matter to us, no matter how big or small. Our brains are wired to seek progress, and even tiny wins can trigger a sense of accomplishment, boosting our self-confidence and motivating us to keep moving forward.
So instead of getting bogged down by what we haven't done, we should be focusing on all the things we have done, even if they seem insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing the positive steps we've taken right here.
Precisely. And that's where language comes in. Phrases like, "this year I finally learned," or "one thing I'm really proud of is," can help you shift your focus to those positive actions. Did you overcome a fear? Did you start a new hobby? Did you simply stick to a healthy habit for a whole week? Those are all achievements worthy of recognition.
This is already making me rethink how I approach reflection. It's not about boasting about big wins. It's about acknowledging our own personal progress, even in the seemingly mundane aspects of our lives.
That's a fantastic takeaway. It's about recognizing the small but significant steps we take every day that contribute to our overall growth. And once we start acknowledging these achievements, we can begin to build a more positive and empowering narrative about ourselves. Now that we've explored the power of recognizing achievements, let's dive into the second area of reflection: challenges.
This is where things can get a little uncomfortable, right? No one likes to dwell on their failures or setbacks. especially during a time of year that's supposed to be about celebration and optimism.
It's true that facing our challenges head-on can be daunting, but it's also incredibly important for growth. Avoiding or suppressing negative experiences can actually hinder our progress, keep us stuck in repetitive patterns, and preventing us from reaching our full potential. Think of challenges as opportunities for deep learning and resilience building. They force us to adapt, to problem solve, and to develop a stronger sense of self-awareness.
So instead of sweeping those challenges under the rug, we should be actively engaging with them, trying to understand what they can teach us. But how do we do that without getting bogged down in negativity?
It's all about reframing those experiences. Instead of viewing challenges as failures, see them as valuable lessons. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me about myself? What strengths did I discover? How can I use this knowledge to make better choices in the future?
I love that shift in perspective. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? We should be asking, what can I learn from this? But sometimes it's hard to see the lesson when you're still feeling the sting of the challenge.
Absolutely. It's important to acknowledge those feelings of disappointment, frustration, or even anger. Suppressing them can actually make them more intense and harder to process. Allow yourself time to grieve the loss of what you expected or hoped for. But then, when you're ready, shift your focus to the future. What can you do differently next time? What new skills or strategies can you develop to navigate similar challenges more effectively?
This is reminding me of the growth mindset concept, where we embrace challenges as opportunities for learning and development rather than viewing them as threats to our self-worth. It's about seeing setbacks as temporary and focusing on our ability to improve over time.
Exactly. And the language we use can really reinforce this mindset. Instead of saying, I failed at, try phrases like, this was a tough experience, but I learned, or I faced a significant obstacle and it taught me the importance of.
Those phrases sound so much more empowering. It's not about denying the difficulty of the challenge, but rather about highlighting the strength and resilience we gain from overcoming it. It's a subtle but important shift in perspective. Before we move on to the third area of reflection gratitude, I want to remind our listeners that we put a lot of effort into researching and crafting these deep dives. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on language and personal development. We also love hearing your thoughts and experiences, so feel free to share your own reflections on challenges in the comments below. Now let's talk about gratitude. Why is it so important to reflect on what we're grateful for, especially after a year that may have included its fair share of difficulties?
Gratitude is often overlooked, but it's a powerful tool for cultivating a more positive and resilient mindset. When we focus on what we're thankful for, we shift our attention away from what's lacking and towards the abundance that already exists in our lives.
That makes sense. It's about appreciating the good, even amidst the challenges.
Exactly. And the benefits of gratitude go far beyond just feeling good. Research has shown that practicing gratitude can improve our physical and mental health, strengthen our relationships, and even boost our productivity. When we cultivate a grateful mindset, we're more likely to notice and appreciate the positive aspects of our experiences, which can have a ripple effect on every area of our lives.
So it's not just about feeling warm and fuzzy, it's about actually rewiring our brains to focus on the positive, which can then lead to tangible improvements in our well-being.
Precisely. And the best part is gratitude is a skill that can be developed with practice. It's like a muscle that gets stronger the more we use it.
So how do we actually incorporate gratitude into our reflection process? Is it as simple as making a list of things we're thankful for?
While listing things we're grateful for is a great starting point, there are ways to make it even more impactful. Instead of just listing generic things like my family or good health, try to be more specific and descriptive. For example, you could say, I'm grateful for the hilarious conversation I had with my best friend last week, or I'm thankful for the beautiful sunrise I witnessed this morning. The more specific and detailed you are, the more deeply you'll connect with the feeling of gratitude.
That's a great tip. It's about savoring those little moments of joy and appreciating the unique details that make our lives so rich. And as we move into the new year, carrying that sense of gratitude with us can be a powerful antidote to the stress and negativity that can sometimes overshadow our lives.
Absolutely. Gratitude is a gift we can give ourselves every day, and it's one of the most valuable tools we have for creating a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
I love that. It's about choosing to see the good, even when things are tough. Now, before we dive into the exciting world of goal setting, let's take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more insights on how to reflect on the past and set powerful intentions for the year ahead. Welcome back to Podcast Listen and Learn English. We've been having such a thought-provoking conversation about reflection and how it sets the stage for meaningful goal setting.
Mm-hmm. It's been fascinating to unpack these concepts and explore the nuances that often get overlooked.
Absolutely. We've talked about celebrating achievements, reframing challenges, and cultivating gratitude. Now let's dive into the exciting part, setting goals for the new year.
Okay.
What are some of the key principles we should keep in mind as we embark on this process?
Well, one of the most important things is to align our goals with our values. It's not just about setting arbitrary targets. It's about identifying what truly matters to us and then creating goals that reflect those core values. When our goals are deeply connected to our sense of purpose, we're far more likely to stay motivated and committed over the long term.
That makes so much sense. It's about creating goals that resonate with our authentic selves, not just chasing after what society tells us we should want.
Exactly. It's about designing a life that feels fulfilling and meaningful to you, not to anyone else. And once you've identified those core values, it's time to translate them into specific, actionable goals.
So how do we go from those big picture values to concrete goals we can actually work towards?
One helpful technique is to break down your larger goals into smaller, more manageable steps. It's like creating a roadmap for your journey with clear milestones along the way.
Right.
This not only makes the process less overwhelming, but it also allows you to celebrate those small wins, which we know is crucial for maintaining motivation.
I love that analogy of a roadmap. It's about creating a clear path forward, one step at a time.
Yeah.
But sometimes even with a roadmap, we can get sidetracked or lose momentum.
Right.
What are some strategies for staying on track with our goals, especially when life throws us those inevitable curveballs?
Accountability is key. Sharing your goals with a trusted friend, family member, or even a coach can provide that external support and motivation. Regular check-ins and progress updates can help you stay focused and accountable to your commitments.
That's a great point. It's about creating a support system that can cheer us on when we're feeling motivated and nudge us back on track when we're tempted to give up.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of visual reminders. Creating a vision board, writing down your goals, or even setting daily reminders on your phone can help keep your goals top of mind, making it more likely that you'll take action towards them.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into the world of reflection and goal setting. We've covered so much ground, from celebrating achievements to reframing challenges, cultivating gratitude, and setting powerful intentions for the year ahead. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on this whole process. What's the biggest takeaway for you?
For me, it all comes back to intentionality. Reflection and goal setting aren't just about going through the motions or following a set formula. They're about consciously choosing how we want to shape our lives, aligning our actions with our values, and creating a future that feels authentic and fulfilling.
Beautifully said. It's about taking ownership of our journey and actively creating a life we love. And remember, listeners, you don't have to wait for a new year to engage in this process. Reflection and goal setting are powerful tools we can use at any time to course correct, realign, and continue growing towards our best selves.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing journey of self-discovery and growth.
And speaking of ongoing, we'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest takeaways from this deep dive? What reflections and goals are you carrying into the new year? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. We're always eager to learn from our amazing community.
Remember, the most important step is to take action. What small step can you take today to start moving towards one of your goals?
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Podcast Listen and Learn English for more insightful conversations on language and personal development. We put a lot of effort into researching and crafting these episodes, and your support means the world to us. What other topics would you like for us to explore? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we love hearing your suggestions for future topics.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Happy reflecting, and here's to a year filled with growth, purpose, and joy.